Chosen one. The screen was about to take you somewhere else. The thumb already knew the direction. The next app was waiting. The next thread was open. The next demand on your morning had its hand raised. And then this message stopped your hand mid-reach. And the reason it stopped you is not what you think. The interception is the message. That is the whole alert. The Father did not pull you here to give you information. He pulled you here because the first hour of a chosen one's day is sacred ground, and yours was about to be handed to people who have not prayed for you in a single one of their lifetimes. He has been moving toward this morning for at least 2 weeks. The dreams that lingered, the names that kept surfacing, the phrase that found you twice in unrelated rooms. Those were not coincidence. Those were the watchmen waving the lantern. And I hear the Father saying clearly, this is the morning she finally stops. This is the day he finally listens. So stay, receive, let everything else wait until the one who set the day apart has spoken first. One quick note before we go further. Everything in the next 30 minutes is free. If at any point your spirit tells you there is more for this season, the description and pinned comment below will have what you need. Only if you feel led. Only if this is your moment. Before we go further, here is what is about to happen in the next half hour, so you know why I am asking you to stay all the way to the end. You are going to hear 5 signs the Father has been placing in your life for the last 2 weeks, and most chosen ones miss at least 3 of them. You are going to hear why this exact season has felt the way it has, through a wisdom figure positioned in the same kind of moment you are in. You are going to hear 3 specific areas of your life being reorganized right now, with timing your spirit can act on. And at the very end of this message, I am going to speak a declaration over you with your name on it. That is the reason this reached you today. Do not leave before the declaration. Now I want you to settle into wherever you are before we walk into the first part of what the Father wants you to hear. You might still be in bed. You might be in the car, on the morning commute. You might be sitting somewhere you have sat 100 times and never once felt the way you feel this morning. That is fine. The Father is not asking you to be in a special posture. He is asking you to be present. The signs I am about to walk you through have been showing up in your life for at least the last 2 weeks, maybe longer, and they did not start the way you think they started. They did not announce themselves. They crept in quietly, the way real things always do, the way the Father always does. The first sign has been the emotional weather inside you. You have had 10 minutes of peace, followed by 30 minutes of unease, followed by an hour of something close to hope, and nothing in your circumstances explains the cycle. Nothing on the news, nothing in your relationships, nothing in your work. The waves come and they leave, and you cannot trace them back to a source. You have probably told yourself this is hormones, or stress, or the weight of the year you just walked through. Those things are real, but this is not hormones. This is not stress. This is your spirit cycling through what it is about to release. The Father does not detox your soul without you feeling the detox. The second sign has been the strange hollowness in things that used to satisfy something. The apps you used to open and feel calmer after. The shows you used to watch and feel something. The conversations you used to walk away from feeling fed. They have all started leaving you emptier than you were before you reached for them. You have been wondering if something is wrong with you. You have been wondering if you are becoming cold, or jaded, or numb. But this is not depression. This is not you breaking. This is your frequency, leaving the room where the noise was loudest, and your spirit refusing to keep pretending. The snacks of the old life still feed the soul of the new one. The third sign has been a restlessness in your hands that has no name yet. You know there is something you are supposed to make, or write, or build, or say out loud. You can almost see the shape of it. You cannot see the form. And every time you sit down to try, the thing slips out of your grip like a word on the tip of your tongue that will not arrive. You have been calling this creative block. You have been calling this laziness. You have been wondering if you ever had real talent to begin with. But this is not block. This is gestation. What is gestating cannot show its full face until the Father knows you will steward it gently when it arrives. The fourth sign has been the repeating signals the world keeps placing in your path. The same number when you glance at the clock, the same hour appearing across 3 separate days, the same word jumping out at you from 3 different sources in a single week. You have started laughing it off, or noticing it for a moment, and then dismissing it. You have been telling yourself you are pattern-seeking, that the brain is wired to find meaning even where there is none. But this is not pattern-seeking. This is not your imagination. This is the Father, confirming an appointment he set before you knew it was on the calendar, and confirming it in the language he knew you would eventually pay attention to. The fifth sign has been the echo of the same sentence across people who do not know each other. 3 different people, in 3 different rooms, in 3 different weeks, have said something close to the same thing to you. The phrasing was a little different. The intent was almost identical. You wondered briefly whether they were talking, whether the universe was glitching, whether your mind was making the connection itself. But this is not glitch. This is not coincidence. This is the Father, speaking the same word through multiple mouths until the right one finally lands in the ear of the chosen one who can hear it. Now, hold all 5 of those in your mind for a moment. The emotional weather you could not trace, the hollowness in what used to satisfy, the creative restlessness without a shape, the repeating signals you keep dismissing, the same sentence in different mouths. 5 signs, 1 season, 1 person, and the person is you. Whatever doubt was in you before this message reached your screen, hear this clearly. 5 signs in 1 season is not coincidence. 5 signs in 1 season is the Father preparing you for something he cannot deliver to a distracted person, and he has been making sure, in 5 different ways, that you would not stay distracted by the time the gift arrived. The question now is not whether the signs are real. The question is what they have been pointing toward. If even 2 of those landed exactly where you have been living, type the words, "I see it," in the comments below. 3 small words to seal that what you have been noticing was never random. But here is the question that opens the rest of this message. If those 5 signs were not coincidence, what were they pointing toward? Because the Father does not send signs for the sake of sending signs. Signs are always pointing somewhere. What the signs have been pointing toward is the end of a season most chosen ones do not realize they have been in. The Father has allowed you to walk through what felt like a wilderness for at least the past year, and probably longer, and that wilderness was not punishment. The wilderness was not the Father turning his face away. The wilderness was preparation, and there were 3 specific reasons it had to happen exactly the way it did. The first reason was the noise tolerance. The chosen one walking into the season ahead cannot hear divine signal through a brain trained on constant input. So the Father, over many months, has been slowly stripping your tolerance for noise. The shows that used to be background music now grate. The conversations that used to feel light now feel exhausting. That is not you becoming antisocial. That is your spirit calibrating to a different frequency. The second reason was the validation dependency. The chosen one walking into the season ahead cannot lead from a place of needing other people to confirm the direction. So the Father, often through painful repetition, has been removing the sources of external validation you have been leaning on. The friend who used to cheer you on stopped. The family member who used to listen stopped really listening. The platform that used to applaud went quiet. That was not abandonment. That was the Father unhooking you from approval so the inner voice could finally lead. The third reason was the speed of life. The chosen one, walking into the season ahead, cannot receive Kairos at the speed of Chronos. So the Father has been slowing you down on purpose, sometimes with circumstances that frustrated you, sometimes with a body that demanded rest, sometimes with delays that made no logical sense. He was not punishing you. He was making sure you would be moving slowly enough to recognize the appointment when it landed. Now let me say something in the way it needs to be said. because what you have been calling difficulty was actually formation, and the difference between those two words is the difference between an enemy and a coach. What felt like distraction was actually distillation. The Father was not letting the world steal your focus. He was letting the world reveal what kind of focus you actually had, so he could refine it. What felt like indecision was actually divine pause. You were not weak for not choosing. You were wise without knowing you were wise, because some doors should not be walked through, and your spirit knew it before your mind agreed. What felt like loss of momentum was actually loss of false momentum. The things you stopped pursuing were not the things you were supposed to keep pursuing. What felt like spiritual dryness was actually spiritual subtraction. The Father was not absent. The Father was removing the layers of religious performance, the layers of borrowed beliefs, the layers of second-hand certainty, getting you down to the version of you that could finally hear him without translation. Now I want to walk you through something from one of the oldest stories ever written, because the season you are stepping into has been walked before, and there is a wisdom figure whose example most people misunderstand. Her name was Esther. She was a young woman placed inside a palace, inside a king's household, inside a position of comfort and routine she had not asked for and had not built. She did not realize for the longest time that the position was not the destination. The position was the preparation. She had been quietly raised by someone who loved her, trained in things she did not know she would need. She had been positioned inside the palace without understanding why. And she had been moving through her daily routine, the way you have been moving through yours, when the message reached her. The message came through a relative named Mordecai, and the message was simple, and the message was urgent, and the message was almost identical to the one that reached you this morning. The relative said to her, "Perhaps you came to the kingdom for such a time as this. Perhaps the years of preparation, the years of routine, the years of being inside a position you did not understand were never the point. Perhaps the point was this exact moment, this exact assignment, this exact opportunity that nobody but you can carry forward." Here is what most people miss about Esther's story. She did not run out and act. She did not panic. She did not let the urgency of the moment force her into reaction. She paused. She fasted for 3 days. She made everyone around her pause with her. And only after the pause did she walk into the king's court with the kind of clarity that bends the world. That is the lesson the Father is highlighting for you through her example. The lesson is not the bravery, although the bravery was real. The lesson is the timing. The urgent alert that reached you today is not asking you to react. It is asking you to pause first, the way Esther paused, and to walk forward from a place of clarity instead of a place of pressure. The kingdom you have been placed inside is not the destination either. It was preparation for what is about to be asked of you. And the version of you that lived from app to app, the version that gave the first hour of every day to whatever was loudest in the room, the version that was always reachable but never really present, that version had to thin out. Not because that version was bad, because that version could not carry what is about to be carried. The Father is not killing your old self. He is finishing your old self, gently, so the next self has somewhere to live. And if any of this Esther wisdom is reaching someone you can already picture in your mind, someone who needs to hear that the position they have been inside was the preparation and not the destination, then press the like button quietly. Not for me. For the next chosen one, the Father wants this routed to. Your like is the signal flag that tells the message where to travel next. Now, before I take you into what is being reorganized in your life, there is one thing I want to name for the chosen ones already feeling the rest of this land. The Esther kind of pause, the kind that lets divine timing actually take root, requires a brain that can settle into the right frequency. A brain trained on constant noise cannot hold kairos easily. It tries, and it slips. There happens to be a tool that helps the brain settle into that exact frequency much faster than meditation alone can do. It is called the genius song. It is a short audio track built by a neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake, using something documented at MIT, Princeton, and several other leading research universities called brain entrainment, to reactivate the gamma frequency the modern world has been quietly suppressing in you since childhood. If your spirit is already telling you this is the anchor for everything we just walked through, the link is in the description and the pinned comment below. Do not rush. The rest of this message is for those who want context first. For everyone staying through, here is what I want you to hold on to next. Because we just talked about what was being stripped, and now I want you to see what is being put in its place. And what comes next is the part you came here for. The 3 specific areas of your life the Father is reorganizing in this season. The internal pattern that could quietly block reception even after you have done everything right. The declaration with your name on it. And the practical wisdom to walk it out. Do not leave before any of that begins. Welcome back to the second half of this message, Chosen One. We are picking up exactly where we left, and the next part of this carries the 3 things you came here for. The 3 areas being reorganized in your life right now. The internal pattern that could quietly block all of it from landing, and the declaration the Father wrote with your name on it. Stay with me. We are walking the most important part. The Father is reorganizing 3 specific areas of your life in this season, and I want to walk you through each one carefully, because each one comes with what you will feel during the shift, what not to do, and what to trust. The first area is your priorities. The first hour of every day is being relocated. The hour that used to belong to the screen, to the inbox, to the demands of people who do not even know your name, is being quietly reassigned. You will feel this as a kind of withdrawal at first. The hand will keep reaching for the device. The reflex will fire. Do not force a perfect new morning routine in a single day. Do not punish yourself when the reflex wins. Trust that when you give 1 quiet hour back to the Father at the start, He multiplies the attention you have available for everything else that comes after. The second area is your discernment. The ability to tell a divine prompt from anxious noise is sharpening faster than it has in years. What used to take you 3 days to know now takes 3 minutes. You will feel this in confused moments, like the gears are repositioning. Do not mistake the confusion for backsliding. Do not poll 10 people for their opinions before you check with the one who already wrote the answer down. Trust the inner knowing that calmly returns 3 times. That voice is the Father. The loud, panicky demand for an instant answer is not. The third area is your calling clarity. The thing you have been almost able to see, the creative restlessness without a shape, is about to take form. Not all at once, in recognizable pieces. You will feel excitement mixed with terror, wanting to be ready and feeling completely unready at the same time. Do not demand the full map before you take the first step. The Father reveals the path, 1 paving stone at a time. Trust that for those entering this season, the first piece arrives within 21 days, and you will know it is the right piece, because it will feel both new and familiar in the same breath. If even one of those 3 areas, priorities, discernment, calling, was the exact one you have been waiting to hear about, type the 2 words I receive in the comments below. 2 small words. They mark in the spiritual realm that the reorganization is yours to step into. Now I want to give you the word the Father wrote into the original text of the scripture, because the urgency you felt this morning has a name, and the name explains everything. Look at Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, where the text says we will reap in due season. In the original Greek, the word translated as season is kairos, and kairos is not the word for clock time. Clock time has its own Greek word, chronos. Chronos is the slow, grinding sequence of minute after minute, day after day, year after year. Kairos is the crack in chronos where heaven inserts something. Today is not chronos. Today is kairos. The reason this morning feels different is because mechanically, theologically, in the unseen places, this morning is different. The Father bent time around this hour for you. That is what urgent alert actually meant. And before this message ends, I am going to declare something specific over your life with your name written into it. The reason this urgent alert reached you and not someone else this morning will be sealed inside that declaration. Do not leave before it lands. Take a breath with me before we continue. I want to ground us, because what comes next requires settled minds. If you take everything we have walked through, the 5 signs, the wilderness purpose, the Esther parallel, the 3 areas being reorganized, the Kairos timing, and you compress all of it into one sentence, here is what it says. You are at a transition the Father has been preparing for at least 2 weeks. Today is the day He chose to interrupt the noise so you would receive it consciously. And the rest of this season depends on what you do with the next 24 hours. Practically, that means 3 things. Guard the first hour of every day. The inner knowing that calmly returns 3 times is the Father. Trust it. The creative restlessness is gestation, not failure. Steward it gently. And the who in all of this is the chosen one, whose attention the Father intercepted before the world got to her, before the world got to him. The chosen one, whose first hour today belongs to the one who set the day apart. That is who you are this morning. That is who you are walking forward. Now, there is one more thing I want to give you before this message moves into its closing. A specific tool that helps anchor everything we just walked through. And the reason you have always felt different from the room you were sitting in. The reason ordinary tools and ordinary practices have never fully delivered what you sensed should be possible is not random. You were not born ordinary. Chosen ones carry a brainwave called the gamma frequency from birth, before what modern science calls the decline effect dulled it. That high frequency is the gift you have been remembering, the one your childhood self had effortlessly, and the adult version of you has been trying to access ever since. Remember earlier in this message when I first mentioned the Genius song. Now, it is time to walk through exactly what it does and why it is the right anchor for the season we have been describing. A man I will not name, 47 years old, working in marketing, had been carrying 6 months of brain fog so thick he had started doubting his own judgment in meetings. He had been positioned for a promotion and missed it. He started listening every morning for 7 minutes at 6 a.m. before opening a single device. By day 11, the clarity returned. By day 21, he had pitched the project that finally earned him the promotion he thought he had lost. He told the team afterward, it was the first time in 3 years he had heard his own thinking clearly. He proved himself in silence before he proved himself in the room. 3 decades of research at MIT, Princeton, and several other leading research universities have documented one specific brainwave the modern world keeps suppressing, called the gamma frequency. It is the frequency of insight, intuition, and flow state. You had full access to it as a child. Around age 7, something the scientists named the decline effect began shutting it down, and modern life finished the job. The Genius song uses brain entrainment, an EEG-verified technology, to recalibrate the brain back to gamma in 7 minutes a day. Dr. Lake has spent 34 years mapping a full sequence of restoration protocols. What works for an adult brain? What works for a child? What works for the brain that has been restored and is ready to deepen? But the message today focuses on the first piece. Some of you are already thinking 3 things, and I want to name them before they pull you out. The first is that you have tried everything: meditation, yoga, healing sounds, and none of it moved the needle. The difference matters. Those tools ask the brain to change from the inside out, which is slow and uncertain. Brain entrainment works from the outside in, which is faster and measurable. The second thought is that this all sounds too good to be true. That response is a smart person's response. This is not a claim. It is EEG-measured data. over 18,000 users, with less than 4% who have requested refunds. The third thought is that $39 is not a small amount for you. That is honored. The Father is not asking you to stretch beyond what you can. He is asking you to know that this is the lightest tier of access available. Here is how the Father wants you to see the pricing. A meditation app subscription runs around $15 a month. An online mindfulness course is $100 to $200. A weekend retreat is $400 to $800. A single therapy session is around $150. None of them target the gamma frequency specifically. Dr. Lake compressed 34 years of work into a 7-minute audio. The original price was $49. The viewer price for chosen ones being reached through this message is $39 one time. Not a subscription, not a commercial discount. Set this way because Dr. Lake wants the people who actually need it to reach it first. Included with the $39 are 4 bonuses worth $80 total. The Genius Child Audio for the children in your life. The classic book, The Popular Secret, was originally based on a guided visualization across 4 life areas and a 5-habit infographic. All $80 in bonuses free with a 90-day keep the bonus guarantee. Even if you request a refund inside 90 days, you keep all 4 bonuses anyway, as the Father's apology for the time you invested. And here is why the Father is asking you to act today if your spirit said yes during this message. Not because the offer ends, not because the price disappears at midnight, but because momentum from a divine alert does not last forever, and you came here this morning for momentum, not information. The chosen one who hears clearly and waits a week loses the kairos. The chosen one who hears clearly and acts inside the same day walks the rest of the season from a different posture entirely. One thing you need to know before you go searching anywhere else. There are imitations on Amazon and other places that look similar to the Genius song but were mastered differently, calibrated differently, and produce different results. The actual track is only available through the link in the description. Different mechanism, different mastering, different results. Protect what you are about to receive. If your spirit resonates with everything I just walked through, the link in the description will take you there. Only if you feel led. The door is open. The choice is yours. Now, there is one thing that could quietly block everything we have walked through from landing in your actual life, and I would be lying to you if I did not name it. The obstacle is not external. The obstacle is not other people. The obstacle is internal, and it has a specific shape. The pattern is called spiritual static. It is the addiction to perpetual input. It is the reason you can hear the truth, agree with the truth, and then walk right past the truth and back into the same scroll within 10 minutes. The pattern forms for one reason. Chosen ones avoid clarity because clarity demands a decision. The static lets the decision keep waiting. It is not a moral failure. It is a coping pattern. Your nervous system built to survive seasons, it could not metabolize quietly. Every notification you answered when the Father was speaking. Every thread you re-entered, hoping for one more piece of resolution that never came. Every conversation you relitigated in your head at 11 at night. Every time you reached for the scroll instead of the silence. None of those were failures. They were your brain trying to keep you alive in a noise level it was never designed to handle. But the brain that has been on static will resist silence at first. So hear this carefully. You are allowed to be bad at silence. You are allowed to fail the first hour 14 times in a row before you get one quiet morning right. You are allowed to be a chosen one who is still learning to listen. You are allowed to drop the screen, pick it back up, drop it again, and start fresh tomorrow. And you do not owe anyone an explanation for the version of you that is finally going quiet enough to hear the only voice that has been waiting on you all along. If you can name the pattern of static in your life, and your spirit is ready to begin releasing it, type the 2 words "I release" into the comments below. Two small words. They mark in the spiritual realm that the static does not get to keep your first hour anymore. And there was a chosen one I want to mention before this closes. A woman 3 weeks into a season, exactly like the one I have been describing, called to create something, paralyzed by the static. She received a message similar to this one and did one simple thing: put the phone down. Sat in silence for the first hour the next morning. On day 9, the call she had been hoping for came through during the silence. The call she would have missed if she had been scrolling. The project she had been gestating was finally born. She proved herself in stillness before the breakthrough proved her right. Now, do something simple with me before this closes. If you are driving, keep your eyes on the road and just listen. Otherwise, you can soften your gaze. In your mind, picture a doorway. The screen you were holding has fallen to the floor. Behind you is the noise of the morning. In front of you is a door with a book waiting on the other side. The book is open to today's chapter, and the ink is still wet. This is not visualization. This is rehearsal. You are walking through what your spirit is about to walk through anyway. Let the moment settle. And here is who you actually are, walking out of this hour. You are the seer. You are the one who perceives what the room cannot perceive. The static silenced this in you for years. The static is breaking. You see again. You are the watchman. When the Father wants to alert someone, you are the one he sounds through. The fact that today's alert reached you first means the alarm in someone else's life starts with your clarity. You are the voice. There are people in your life who feel everything you have heard described today, but cannot put any of it into words. Your job is not to fix them. Your job is to speak in such a way that they recognize themselves. You are the pioneer, the first in your bloodline to break this pattern, to hear this clearly, to receive an urgent alert and obey it without 47 conversations first. The first ones never know they are the first. They just keep walking. Before I declare what was placed on my spirit for you, I want you to know that the simple fact you have stayed for the last 30 minutes, when the apps were waiting, when the messages were waiting, when every other voice was waiting, the offering. You did not have to be perfect to receive what comes next. You only had to be present. You were present. The Father saw it. And what I want to release over you now is the misreading you have been carrying about today. What felt like an alarm was actually an invitation. What felt like an interruption was actually an appointment. What felt like a warning was actually a welcome. What felt like an alert was actually an embrace. And now hear this clearly. I declare over you, chosen one, that the urgent alert that found you this morning has done its work in your spirit. You are seen, you are positioned, you are sent. And I hear the Father saying clearly, I did not interrupt your morning so you could go back to the static. I interrupted your morning so you would never confuse static for signal again. The first hour belongs to me, says the Father. The first thought belongs to me. The first attention belongs to me. And what I receive in the first hour, I will multiply through the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the season you just stepped into. The morning was mine. The day will follow. The season is shifting under your feet right now. If your spirit is saying yes to all of this, and you are walking out of this hour different than you walked in, type the 3 words, I am ready, in the comments below. 3 small words. They anchor the alert into action. Go now, chosen one. The day belongs to you again, but yours through him, not yours through scrolling. It is sealed. And if this message brought clarity to confusion, if it brought stillness to scroll, if it brought signal to static, let your like be your amen without words. Not for me. For the next chosen one, this message is meant to find. Stay close. There is more being prepared specifically for chosen ones walking this exact season. The path back to messages like this one begins with one quiet click. so that what is being placed in front of you next will find you when it is ready. The tool we walked through earlier, the Genius Song, the link is in the description. Only if your spirit said yes during this message. Only if you feel led. And one more thing before I let you go. If someone came to mind while you were listening, someone who has been giving the first hour of every day to people who do not deserve it, someone who can almost, but not quite name what they are supposed to be building, someone who feels different in every room, but cannot tell anyone why, someone who has been waiting for a permission they cannot ask for out loud, send this to them however you need to. Text it, forward it, send it without explanation. This might be the urgent alert they have been waiting for. The Father may have routed it to you so you could route it to them. The chosen one in your life who has been quiet too long needs the same morning interrupted you just had. Be the messenger. It is sealed. It is finished. Walk well, chosen one.